Hey everyone, and welcome to today's fanfiction. I want to make something clear and say that this fanfiction is actually created with AI. I know you guys like this series that I created many months ago, and I'm continuing it here. However, I do want to say I'm adding some of my own sequences and moments in here as well. And not to mention, the entire thing is actually orchestrated and maneuvered with my commands and prompts in the AI machine to deliver specific outcomes in the story, such as Luke, which you guys will see. I think it turned out pretty cool. However, I just want to be transparent as always, so here we go. The Battle of Endor blazed with a fury born from a fight for freedom. Grand Admiral Thrawn, renowned for his strategic genius, was at the helm of the Imperial fleet. Unlike Admiral Piet, Thrawn wasn't caught off guard by the rebellion's full assault. His cunning eyes, a brilliant red, surveyed the chaos, plotting an elaborate web of strategies. On the forest moon, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and their strike team faced far greater resistance than they initially anticipated. Thrawn had predicted the ground attack and strategically had reinforced the moon with a legion of his best troops. Meanwhile, aboard the Death Star, the Emperor was stoking the fires of hatred and fear in Luke Skywalker. He directed the young Jedi's attention to a holoscreen displaying the battle's progress. The rebellion, the cause that Luke fought for, was losing against the might of Thrawn's fleet. The rebels were ensnared in the vice grip of Thrawn's strategy. Their fleet, caught in a pincer formation between Star Destroyers, was being slowly but efficiently dismantled. Thrawn's command was smooth and unyielding. Maintain the pressure. Allow no escape. Divide and conquer. Despite the grim situation, the rebels on Endor's moon fought on. Even as stormtroopers descended on their position, they kept pushing towards the shield generator. Yet, with each passing moment, their hope dwindled. The Empire under Thrawn's command was a different beast altogether. In the Emperor's throne room, Luke's desperation grew. The dark side pulsed around him, fed by his rising fear and anger. As his friends faced defeat, his emotions ran wild. The Emperor's malicious laughter echoed around him.
Feel the despair, young Skywalker. Embrace your destiny.
Back on the moon, a temporary victory gave the rebels a ray of hope. A well-placed detonator took out a contingent of stormtroopers, but their celebration was cut short as Thrawn's reinforcements swiftly closed in, turning their minor victory into a stark reminder of the Grand Admiral's strategic prowess. The rebel fleet was in shambles, their starfighters struggling to make a dent in Thrawn's defenses. Admiral Akbar recognized the dire situation, realizing Thrawn's tactical superiority. Despite their efforts, the shield generator was still active, and the Death Star was still untouchable. Watching his friends' impending defeat and feeling the dark side's alluring pull, Luke made a fateful decision. If his allies were to be defeated, if his father remained the Emperor's servant, then he would need more power. His fear, anger, and desperation took hold, and he ignited his lightsaber, lunging at Vader. Emperor Palpatine cackled with delight as Luke gave in to his emotions. He watched the fierce duel, satisfied that his plan had come to fruition. Meanwhile, Thrawn had seen the momentary flicker of the Death Star's shields. Although quickly stabilized, it betrayed the existence of a ground attack to him. His lips curled into a thin smile as he adjusted his strategy. All units tighten the noose. Let none escape. Back on Endor, Leia, looking up from their entrenched position, saw a small flicker in the sky, the Death Star. A chill ran through her. Luke was on that battle station. The fear for her brother gnawed at her. Luke, filled with the dark side's power, fought Vader relentlessly. He bettered his father into submission, fulfilling the Emperor's wishes. With the dark side flowing through him, Luke's last shred of hope vanished as the Imperial fleet decimated the Rebel Alliance. Seeing no other way, he pledged himself to Palpatine's teachings. As Luke knelt, pledging his allegiance, the Emperor cackled with wicked delight.
Excellent, my apprentice. Together, we will crush the rebellion.
Embracing the dark side, Luke's heart turned cold. His only focus was power. Power to defeat Thrawn. Power to destroy the Emperor. Meanwhile, his friends on Endor were overrun, captured by Imperial forces. Back in space, Thrawn's strategic genius had indeed changed the course of the battle. The rebel fleet, once a hopeful force, was in tatters. Akbar, realizing the battle was lost, gave the order to retreat, but escape was not easy. He deployed something ancient, his interdictor-class cruiser ships, their massive gravity wells pulling the rebel ships out of hyperspace. On Endor, Han and Leia bound and surrounded by stormtroopers, could only watch as the remnants of the rebel fleet were decimated. Their hope, once a shining beacon, was now all but extinguished. On the Death Star, Luke's surrender marked the beginning of a new era. The Emperor was delighted by the turn of events, but he didn't foresee the danger it presented. Luke's desire for power and his newfound dark side abilities led him to challenge the Emperor sooner than expected, a battle that shook the very core of the Death Star. While Luke battled the Emperor, the remnants of the rebellion were being hunted down. Yet, even in the face of certain defeat, they held on to hope. After all, wasn't that what the rebellion was all about? Leia, even when captured, started devising a plan, refusing to give in. In the throne room, the duel reached its climax, Luke teetering on the brink of complete immersion in the dark side. He faced a choice. In the end, he knew what he had to do for his friends and for the betterment of the galaxy, even if it meant succumbing to the darkness entirely. Igniting his Skywalker bloodline, engulfing into the darkness itself, he destroyed the Emperor. But this was not the redemption that it could have been. It was merely a changing of the guard, from one Sith Lord to the other. Newly master and apprentice, the rule of two had succeeded, and Palpatine had won. With the Emperor dead, Luke turned his attention to Thrawn, as his father lay in the corner breathing heavily. He was still alive. Using the Death Star's remaining operational capabilities, Luke targeted the Grand Admiral's command ship. Thrawn, caught off guard for the first time, immediately moved to his escape pod, watching as a beam of pure energy raced towards his ship. Thrawn's fate was left uncertain as his ship was consumed by the blast, scattering the Imperial fleet. Luke's act had not been one of the rebellion, but of asserting his own control. The remaining rebellion forces, both on Endor and in the ragtag fleet, watched as Thrawn's flagship exploded. In the confusion that ensued, they managed to escape, retreating to fight another day. The rebellion suffered heavy losses as well, but they survived, thanks to the chaos caused by Luke's actions. Meanwhile, Luke's fate was sealed as he succumbed to the dark side, setting the stage for a new era of conflict in the galaxy. As Luke took his father into a ship in the docking bay of the Death Star, he set course for the nearest medical facility that he knew, where no questions would be asked. He didn't know yet how the galaxy would respond to his father surviving, and, for that matter, Luke saving him, but it didn't matter. All that mattered now was redeeming Anakin Skywalker. Now, this outcome was indeed very different with Thrawn in command. I feel that once Luke saw that really there was no hope for his friends or for him to win, he had to take the last option possible. Against, of course, Yoda's wishes, but in the end, Luke was able to control himself and come back from the dark side. And all of this knowledge helps him become a Jedi Grand Master later on down the road, as we see in Legends. The Empire, although losing Palpatine and possibly Thrawn, that's for you guys to decide, gained a new, powerful dark side user. As we know, once you use the dark side even a little bit, forever will it dominate your destiny. Thanks guys for watching today's fanfiction. I hope you enjoyed it, along with some incorporation of AI. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Fulfill your destiny.